All right, last time we talked about calculating how much someone would get paid for time and a half and double time. So now we're going to take a look at a time card to figure out how much in a week would be considered time and a half and how much of that week would be considered double time. Now, it's important to remember that anytime we're talking about Sunday or a holiday, that's going to be double time for us. Remember, I said that this is just for our class, and it's important to note that for your future quiz. So keep in mind that if it's on a Sunday or a holiday only, that's when you're going to automatically do double time. Otherwise, any amount of hours worked over 40 hours is only going to be time and a half. Okay, so we're going to do a few of these together. Looking at the very first example that is done for us, we have different columns here. We have total amount of hours, so that's when we're going to just add them all up. In this case, 8 plus 8, 8, 9, 8. That equals 41. So you're going to do that with all of these. Let me go on to number 3 here so you can kind of see. So we have, for number 3, if I add up 10, 8, 9, 8, and 10, we're adding all of those up. I get a total of 45 hours. Okay? So you're going to add them all up for the first one. Total hours should be pretty easy. Then you have to think about how many regular hours are happening. So regular hours happen only between Monday through Saturday, because remember that automatically anything worked on a Sunday is going to be double time. So anything worked on a Sunday is going to be double time. So for regular hours, we're only counting anything worked Monday through Saturday. So in this example, we had 40 hours, because that's the max, worked Monday through Saturday. So this is Monday, this is Saturday. And yes, there was a total of 41 there, but remember anything over 40, that's going to be considered overtime. So this regular hours, your max in that column is going to be 40. That's the max. You can't be more than that because that would be considered overtime. So in the example that I'm doing on number 3 here, well, the only ones that are regular hours in this case are these first 4, okay? Those are the only ones because this 10 is technically on a Sunday, so it's no longer considered regular. So if I subtract that 10, that doesn't count. I really have 35 regular hours on that one, okay? Going on to the next column. The next column is any time and a half. So time and a half is going to be anything over the 40 hours that happened between, again, Monday through Saturday. So in this case, 40, right? And then I have 41 total. Nothing is happening on that Sunday, so I don't have to worry about double time. Therefore, I only had that one time and a half overtime. It's not double. And then 0 because there was nothing happening on that Sunday that affected any double time. Okay, so let's finish up the third row that we're working on. So time and a half would be if I had anything over 40 that is not happening on a Sunday. So like I don't have any hours because this was only 35, right? And then the 10 that are happened on a Sunday. These 10 hours are not going to be time and a half. They're going to be double time because they landed on a Sunday. So it would be different if it was on landing on a Saturday or any other day of the week, but because it's a Sunday, that's why it's different. So let's do one more just to make sure we are getting it. I'm going to go on to number 4. So focusing on the 4th row here. Again, total number of hours, you're just going to add them all up straight across. Add up 8 plus 9 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 3. Okay? And in this case, we end up with 44 for the total number of hours. Regular hours. Okay, so here's where it gets a little bit more tricky. And if you want to fill out other stuff, you can. If anything lands on a Sunday, that's automatically double. So we'll go ahead and transfer that number to the double column. So 3 of those are going to be double. So if I take away the 3 from the original 44, I'm still dealing with 41. Okay, remember that your regular hours should be no more than 40 because anything over 40 is going to be overtime. So 40 regular hours and 3 double time hours means that I still have 1 hour left to make that 44. And so that 1 hour is going to be time and a half. Okay. Again, the reason why the 3 is in the double time is because it happened to land on a Sunday. And then we subtracted the 3 from the 44 because that's how many hours we worked total that week. And then we have 1 left because it exceeded 40. That's going to be a time and a half. Okay, so go ahead and take some time to fill out the rest of the 1 through 7. I'm going to show you an example here for the bottom half. So in this bottom half, we have one more thing happening. So anytime we have Sunday, this is still Sunday. All of these are going to be double time automatically, but we have one more thing happening in this case. We have the information that Monday is July 4th. So remember I said anytime it's a Sunday or a holiday. So in this case, anything on a Monday is also going to be double time. Okay, so we're going to get a lot of double time here. So in this first example that's filled out for us, we're actually adding 8 and 0. That's this double time. So if you want to go ahead and do that part first, you can. For example, if I were to do 12, that's the one I'm going to do with you. If I add 8 and 8, those are going to be my double time hours. So this person is getting 16 hours double time. So it's important to note that at first. Okay. Now we have to account for the other days that we need to work here. So I had 56. Sorry, I got rid of that one because I added all of the 8s. And then how many hours are left if 16 of those 56 are double time in this case because they landed on a holiday and a Sunday. So that means I have 40 hours. And those 40 hours are just the regular hours you get to work. Okay, and then in this case, there's going to be no time and a half because anything that exceeded the 40 hours happened to be double time. So no time and a half in this case. So again, take some time to practice doing these problems, and we will go over the answers later. Going on to the next page, now let's talk about how to figure out how much money you're going to get based on the amount of hours you're working, assuming that you're getting some overtime, whether that's time and a half or double time. Okay, so we have Dolores worked 44 hours at an hourly rate of $6.75. She was paid time and a half for any overtime. So the problem will specifically tell you whether to do time and a half or double time. Remember, if it says Sunday or holiday, you automatically assume it's double time for those two scenarios only. So the first step we want to do is figure out how many of those hours are considered overtime. And so you always want to subtract 40 because those are the max amount of regular hours you can have in a time period, in a pay period. So that means we have 4 hours of overtime. Okay. Step 2 is to figure out just the regular rate, the regular wage. We have $6.75 per hour times 40 hours of regular pay, and that's going to give us $270. Next, we're going to figure out the time and a half rate. So if, again, you originally get paid $6.75, you're going to multiply by the 1.5. We practiced this last time. So that means each overtime hour, you're actually going to get paid $10.13. We'll round up here in a second. So there it is. We rounded. The reason why we rounded is because the number next to the 2 is 5 or more. Therefore, the 12 actually becomes a 13. So $10.13 times the 4 overtime hours, that means we made $40.52 for those 4 hours. So we take the regular wage, $270, and we are going to add it to the overtime wage, the $40.52, and that's going to equal our total wages. Okay, and that's what you're going to be doing in this table. So just kind of fill in the different columns. That's going to help you out. Doing the first one together, 42 hours is the total amount of hours worked, which means I can have no more than 40. So 42 minus 40, that means 2 of those hours are overtime. Overtime for this is going to be times 1.5. So if you take 650 and you multiply it by 1.5, that's going to be our overtime rate. And that is $9.75 an hour. figuring out our regular wages. Okay, so the regular wages, this means you're going to take your 40 hours and you're going to multiply it by your regular rate. So 40 times 6.50, that's going to give me $260. That's how much I made with my regular hours. Now I'm going to take into account my overtime hours. My overtime hours, I had 2 of them, and my rate is $9.75 for just those 2 hours. So when I do $9.75 times 2, I get $19.50. So you want to double check those numbers. Okay, so then my total wages is going to be this plus this. And so my check for this case should be $279.50. So go ahead and fill out the rest of this table. Now, to finish up with this, we're going to do some word problems. When you're working through these, remember the Sunday and holiday concept of being double time versus if it's just anything over 40, but it doesn't happen to be on a Sunday or a holiday, you just do time and a half. Okay, so I'm just going to do number 4 with you because it really goes over all the different things that I just mentioned. So we have Keith earns $10.42 per hour. Okay, he works Monday through Friday, 43 hours. That's important because Monday through Friday means that those hours, even though it goes over 40, that just means time and a half. However, we're also told that there's 6 hours, okay, on Sunday. So he worked 43 from Monday through Friday, and then in addition to that, we have the 6 hours on Sunday. So first, let's figure out the regular pay. Regular pay, we know it's just going to be at the $10.42 an hour. And then I can have up to 40 hours. And he worked 43, so I'm just going to take 40 of those hours. When I multiply 1042 times 40, I get $416.80. Okay, cool. So I took out 40 of those. Next, I'm going to talk about the overtime that happened between that Monday through Friday. So it says 43 hours. That means 3 of those hours are at time and a half. So go off to the side and figure out what time and a half would be. So if I take 1042 and I multiply it by 1.5, which represents time and a half, okay, that's going to give me 1563. So anything over 40 that happens between Monday through Friday in this case is going to be multiplied by 1563. So 1563 times the 3 hours, that gives me $46.89. And lastly, for this problem, we have the double time. Okay, double time is anything that happens on a Sunday or a holiday. In this case, the problem tells me that 6 of those hours happened on a Sunday. So to figure out the double time, I'm going to take the 1042 and I'm going to multiply it by 2 because I get double the amount that originally was there. So every hour is $20.84. So $20.84 times the 6 that were worked on a Sunday equals $125.04. So my total here is going to be all of these numbers added up. And our check comes out to $588.73. So as you're working through all of these word problems, pay attention to any hours that took place on a Sunday or on a holiday. So go ahead and work out the rest of these word problems.